What's up, everybody? This your boy the Black Kakashi, and I'm here with a Dragon Ball Super video. Now that the Moro Arc is all said and done, and we've had our highs and lows with this arc, the potential shown and the potential wasted in this particular arc is noteworthy. But in this video, I'm here to talk about my favorite moments in the arc. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more gaming and anime videos. Now, this idea came to me because of Geekdom 101's video of him making a top 10 moments in the Moro Arc. Now, I already had the idea to make a video talking about my favorite moments because most of my views have come from my rants about each chapter. And if you haven't seen those, I recommend watching them before this video so you can kind of get an understanding of what would be my favorite moments in this arc. Now, after reading the chapters and making a list of my favorite moments, I realized that I had a lot more favorite moments than I thought I would. But before I get into that, I want to talk about the honorable mentions first. Now, my honorable mentions are Moro versus the Grand Kai, or the Lord of Lords. Now, this was a great fight to see because we got to see what both parties look like at their full strength. And we were first introduced to Grand Kai back in the Buu saga, getting absorbed by Kid Buu. So it was nice to see how strong this man really was. He practically went up against Moros in this fight, who was basically the strongest and most deadly being at the time, and took away his magic and locked him up for 10 million years ago. My next mention is Goku and Vegeta powering up and smiling at each other in chapter 47. Now, the reason I like this moment is because it reminded me of the Budokai Tenkaichi opening, where Goku and Vegeta were smiling at each other. Like, that is literally the only reason why. Nothing more or nothing less. Next is 7-3 being like Amazo from DC Comics. Now, I'm a huge DC fan. Superman's my favorite superhero. So, this had to be on the list. Amazo can copy the powers and moves of people just by looking at them and absorbing their powers. Seeing 7-3 just use the other people's powers was just so awesome to me because this arc was still showing promise and didn't blow a 3-1 lead yet like it does later on in the story. Now, my last honorable mention is the reveal of what happens when an angel goes all out or breaks angel rules. An angel's job is specifically only to watch and guide the god of destruction. They aren't allowed to interfere with human problems. We already knew this information, but in the Moro Arc, it's further detailed that if an angel goes all out, they'll die and be erased from existence. This was huge news, but it wasn't really that hard to figure out if you really wanted to figure it out. It was a no-brainer. Now it's time to talk about my favorite moments in the arc. Now, I just want to point out that I'm not ranking these. I'm just saying what were my favorite moments in the arc. Now, my first favorite moment is Vegeta wanting to atone for his sins against the Namekians. Now, before you mention it, of course I'm going to start off with a Vegeta moment. He's literally my favorite character in the series. And once again, Dragon Ball Super shows that Vegeta is only meant for character development and Goku is only meant for power-ups. We know the bad things that Vegeta has done to the Namekians in the Frieza saga. All of the killing and torture he's done to them is ridiculous. So the fact that he made it his #1 priority to protect the people of Namek shows how far the Prince of Saiyans has come. My next favorite moment is a 2-for-1, and that's Moro and the introduction of magic. Now, we've already been introduced to magic in the previous Dragon Ball stories, but not to this extent. I really love that it wasn't just your typical villain having tremendous strength to fight the main characters, like most arcs in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. It's the same thing with Jiren. Jiren wasn't no villain or nothing. He was just a dude that was really strong. He trained to get really strong and want to throw down with the strongest niggas too. That's literally what Jiren was, and he delivered that promise. Now, Moro is a literal goat that used magic and gave Goku and Vegeta problems. Now, they've never fought a villain with magic before. I mean, you could technically count Majin Buu, but not really, and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. But Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo only uses powers on Vegeta and the other people. Spopo or whatever the dude name is that beat up Videl. The only thing he used was mind control, and used that on Deborah and Spo and those other dudes and Majin Vegeta. So that's the only time we've seen magic like actually do something. But other than that, It wasn't displayed to this extent. Like I mentioned, they've never fought a villain with magic before, so it makes sense that they would have problems with it. He could literally drain you and the planet's energy while you're powering up. Imagine Goku in the Buu Saga transforming into Super Saiyan 3, and instead of an epic transformation with an epic soundtrack playing in the background, we just get Goku screaming for 5 minutes. But that kind of sounds like a normal thing in Dragon Ball Z, so would you be able to tell the difference? He could literally share his powers to people and make them strong enough to go up against Super Saiyan Blue. Like, Moro was a great threat, but his potential was wasted. I'll go into detail about that in my least favorite moments video. So now my next favorite moment is Vegeta's training in Yardra. This was a shocker for me considering I never thought Vegeta would even go there to train. Like, he went there so he could learn a technique to deal with Moro's magic. Goku was the first one to train there, and the furthest he got was instant transmission. And we know how good that's worked out for him. So I was extremely excited to see what Vegeta was going to learn. My next moment is another 2-for-1. The Z Fighters getting screen time and Goku's arrival. This was one of the highlights for me because it's been a while since we've seen the Z Fighters get this type of screen time. Since like the first 3 arcs in Dragon Ball Z. Now I said fighters. I'm thinking about Dragon Ball Fighters for no reason. Now I'm not counting Resurrection of F and the Tournament of Power because, I mean, they weren't on Earth defending their lives, fighting for their lives, waiting for Goku to arrive. And I don't want to count Resurrection of F because that wasn't as important as them fighting. The Frieza Force was not as important as it was in the Dragon Ball Z, so I'm not even counting those 2 arcs. That's the only reason why. Now, seeing the Z Fighters defend the Earth while waiting for Goku to arrive gave off huge nostalgia, and that put a smile on my face. Especially the GOAT Yamcha putting in work and showing why he deserves respect. And just like in Dragon Ball Z, they get the business until Goku arrives. And speaking of Goku's arrival, that definitely put a smile on my face. Seeing Goku beat up all of the henchmen before fighting the final boss was so hype. It had the same energy as what Goku did to Nappa in the Ginyu Force. My next favorite moment is Ultra Instinct Goku versus Moro. Before Goku turned into Ultra Clown Instinct, he was Migate no Goku and fought Moro and gave him the freaking business. He literally had this goat backing up in fear and yelling for Goku to stay away. This fight was very similar to when Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku fought Jiren. Like, Moro got the same beating that Jiren got, but on a worse level. After this arc, Goku will now have total control of Ultra Instinct. Now, I don't know if he'll be able to flip it on and off like Super Saiyan, because if that's the case, then most of these arcs that are going to be in the future are going to be very short. But it depends on what happens in this current arc, that might not be true. This moment right here is my all-time favorite moment in the Moro arc. Like, if I was actually doing a ranking, this would be my number 1 hands down. And that moment is none other than Vegeta's arrival / Vegeta versus Moro. This was the real fucking hype of the chapter. Of not the chapter, but of the arc. This is what Vegeta fans were waiting for. Vegeta to put in work and show niggas what time it is. Seeing everybody's favorite dumb MC getting his ass beat and having no other options on how to beat Moro, and then having the GOAT pull up and save him is exactly how the Z Fighters felt on a daily basis. Vegeta said sit back and watch a real nigga work. He gave Moros the business. I'm talking about hitting Vegeta with an 8 trigram 64 palms type of business. That's how dangerous it was. This was the moment where we thought Vegeta was finally going to get his moment. Niggas was gassing him up. Piccolo was gassing him up in the background, talking about how Vegeta's been his character development has been top tier. He's been putting in all his work to atone for the sins of what he did to the people of Namek. And they've been hinting at it since the start of the arc, but they said fuck it. And I forgot to mention that the technique Vegeta learned was Force Spirit Fission or Forced spirit fission or spirit fission. It allows you to take away all the energy that's inside someone, which is the perfect counter for Moro since he literally absorbs a lot of energy. It's like a spirit bomb, but instead of a bomb, it's an energy supplier. Vegeta can split fusions from anybody. He stated that he could split the fusion between Nami. I'm thinking of One Piece. He stated that he could split the fusion between Nail, Kami, and Piccolo if he wanted, which would have been perfect in the Goku Black arc with Merge Zamasu and the Tournament of Power. My final favorite moment in the Moro arc is seeing Oob return in the manga. This was another highlight for Dragon Ball fans because of what's been revealed. Oob has been confirmed to have God Ki, which is pretty badass if you ask me, and it shows you how strong Kid Buu really was because the Grand Kai had divine power and got the business from Kid Buu. But it was never confirmed that the Southern Kai had God Ki when he got absorbed because he was there when Grand Kai fought Moros, but I can't take away what Kid Buu did to them. Seeing Oob again shows that we are nowhere near completing Dragon Ball Super because he's still a kid and he has all of this power. Overall, I hope we see more Oob in the future. And that concludes my favorite moments in the Moro arc. I'll be talking about my least favorite moments as well, so look out for that. Let me know what your favorite moments in the arc were, and once again, thank you for watching the video. Leave a like and comment. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.